Good evening here on the Central Riverhawks YouTube channel. I'm Joel McCall, visiting now with Haley Williams. She is the head coach of the Central Riverhawk volleyball team. They finished their season on Thursday night and wrapped up at an 18-11 overall, 6-6 in the MVC. Coach Williams, thank you so much for spending some time with us because we didn't get to talk after the playoff loss against Onalaska.
Yes, thank you for having me, of course, and thank you for all you guys did this season. It was really, really, really awesome, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. I enjoyed it. This is obviously the best season that the Central Riverhawks have had in a decade. I went back, I've gone all the way back to 2014. They did have an 8-7 record overall in the COVID year,
Mhm.
but they also were like 3 and something in the conference. So you go 6-6 this year. So best since 2014, and obviously the most wins since 2014. I praise this team a lot, Coach. What you have done with the program for 5 years and building something up. This year, it just seemed like there was times where I felt like the team should have maybe won a game or two that they left out there. However, there was a lot of highs this year.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, best season since 2014 is pretty special, and I give a lot of credit to the girls and being really like receptive to feedback, trying new things. I mean, we had players in different positions and they played out like their whole lives this year, and they really embraced it and they came together. Like no team drama, and I give the kudos to them too because they were just there, including all the underclassmen. So I just give a lot of credit to them, and it was really fun. And it doesn't seem like it should be over, but it was a really special group, and I really really enjoyed this year. So I'm sad that it's over.
What would you say is the best thing about this season overall? Is it the group mentality? Is it the family aspect? What is it, Coach?
Oh gosh, it's hard to pick one thing. Probably just like the family aspect of it is they all were really wanting each other to succeed. Like if you talk to some of our players, they didn't really care what they were doing; they just wanted their team to win. And I think that really excelled us to win some of these tough games. And we only had a few tough losses this year, but overall we had some really good wins too, beating DeForest. Um, I mean, beating Anna twice in conference, that wasn't expected either. So we had some really good quality wins that were fun to see, and we didn't really have our big dip at the end of the season that's kind of hit us these last couple of years. I'm losing to Sparta was tough our last week of conference, but we didn't let things build into multiple weeks of losses. So I was really proud of the group for always being able to bounce back, and I always called them the resilient bunch. They always seem to find a way, even if it wasn't always the prettiest. And it was really fun to coach them this year.
Yeah, I agree with you on the snowball effect of what took place last year, especially where it was just loss after loss. And then it just seemed like the girls kind of flamed out throughout the year, and especially at the very end. You mentioned the Onalaska wins. Obviously, that is a huge thing and that was a long losing streak to the Hilltoppers that you broke even at the beginning of the year where you went 3-2 and did the reverse sweep. I have your record or your schedule in front of me. You go 4-0 the first day at the Onalaska tournament. You bounce back, and had a couple of wins there. And the second day as well, lost to Onalaska on that rematch, but still had 2 wins the next day. Your DeForest tournament, I think that might have been overlooked a little bit just because of the fact that we weren't there. Nobody's really covering it. And I believe, no, I was at Toma following that. So I did cover your next match. However, I wasn't there. I think that DeForest tournament really does stick out though, because the girls won that tournament. I think people need to realize that that's a tournament championship there.
Yeah, that's a tough tournament too. You see some really good quality teams there, and it's a chance to play a sectional team with the Forest usually too, and just get some common opponents. Looking at playoffs too, and I think the best since I've been there, the best we've ever done is like a 2-2 record, or maybe even 3-2. I don't even know for sure. But it's always a tough tournament and challenges us. And I was kind of anticipating that 2-2 mark, hopefully go a little bit above 500. Played a really strong Dodgeville team that could have gone either way. 25-23, we lost to them. But then to still be able to have a chance to go fight to get to the championship and beat West Salem in 3. Luther Prep, I believe, was our other school we beat, which is a nice team too. to make it to the championship and then fight back against a Forest is really cool and special. And yeah, it's hard to win a tournament. So I'm really proud of the girls. That was fun. That was a really fun day.
Yeah, I was glad I got to see the very end of that. They were streaming that, so I did end up seeing the huddle camera for the end of it. And then the MVC overall, I know that you go 6-6. I felt like the team should have went 7-5, possibly even better than that,
Yeah.
because of the loss to Toma on September 10th. Holman played ridiculously well the two matches that you saw them, and then they ended up beating Wanakee last night, so they're still in the tournament. But yeah, you really bounced back nicely against Toma. But yes, you mentioned that loss to Sparta at the end of the year could have kept you from above, or could have propelled you above 500, which is something that the Riverhawks haven't done for so long in the MVC. But overall, again, fourth place, not too bad.
Yeah, no, it's we keep improving, and I think that's important. I think my second year after the COVID year, I think we won one conference game, and the year after was
Yep.
two, then it was three. So we're doubling it, kind of. We're getting there. We're getting better, getting stronger. Our conference is it's a matchup every night. Any team can win, and it makes it fun. But it's also like you can't take a night off, and you got to be ready to go at all times. And I just give credit to all of our conference coaches for the teams they put together every year. It's been fun to always be able to compete, and I'm proud that we took fourth. Third was in our hands, but we'll learn from it and just keep getting better.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned it. I appreciate most of the MVC coaches as well because they do get back to me, and even some of them like me. So I'll take that. I think they just like the fact that I cover volleyball because most places don't. But and then let's run through your seniors and let's talk about them. I got the roster sitting in front of me. I'm gonna miss out on your manager. I can never remember her name. I apologize. You can mention that. Because I know that your manager was also a senior, but you had Sierra Freed, Layla Barr, Aaliyah Shield. Who am I missing? Oh, Addisy Desart Autumn, and then Edie Weesey. I was about to say her and skip over Autumn. I knew I was missing one. And then Laurel Erickson. So that's your seniors for this year, plus your manager. So it's a great group. There's a lot that's going to be missed next year. However, we were going to talk about what's coming back too. But I think the overall senior leadership and what they were able to do. And as you talked about, it's the positions, right? I mean, you asked Sierra Freed to pretty much move away from setting, which is what she has done the last couple of years. You asked Shield to move from the outside to the middle. And then Erickson's just doing her own thing in the back row.
She really pushed to be middle for us, Laurel, though. So I had to hold her back all the time she wanted to. In our 3v3 tournament at the end of the year, she was coming in the front row and smoking it. So
That's
she still
hilarious.
wanted a chance. Yeah, so it's funny. Yeah, no, it was a special group. And I had Aaliyah, Sierra, and Laurel for the past 4 seasons too. And just to watch their growth from their freshman year and take on different roles was really, really special. Sierra and Laurel were 2 year captains for us. And I feel like they were just constant leaders by examples. Aaliyah rounded off our captains this year too. And then I had the other 3 for the last 2 seasons as well. Layla really getting a chance to be on the court more this season. And Edie, unfortunately, had another injury just kind of tackled on, but that's a resilient kid right there. And I just hope her comeback is just keeps getting stronger and stronger. And this is the last time she has to deal with her foot issues. But just proud of her for her leadership still. Even though she had to be on the sidelines for most of the season, but she was really helpful to McKenna Michaels too, and really pumped her up, which you appreciated too. And Addie was a good vocal leader for us too. And I know she didn't get a ton of court time, but she was always giving it her all in practice, trying to make her teammates better. And then can't forget about Emerson, our manager. She was our
There you go.
manager the
Thank you.
last 2 years. Yep, I got you. Just a ray of sunshine too. We always call her the best manager in the state. She always was willing to do anything we needed her to do. If we had an odd number of people, she'd jump in for warming people up and helped us stats every night and made sure we had our playlist ready for practice and all the good stuff. And she's wonderful too. So I'm very, very blessed with these 7 seniors and what they brought to this program over their 4 years, and especially this year, really, really shining and helping our team succeed.
Yeah, they really did. And I've had so much fun. I called Sierra this smiling Sierra, kind of fits the bill, because she was always just so happy to be out there. And then as Erickson knows, and I think her parents even know, she has been my favorite to watch these last couple of years and how well she has performed in the back row for you and getting her thousandth. And I'm so glad that we were actually on the call for that for her thousandth dig too. And then I know you don't have much juniors coming back. Zee really did help herself out. She played a lot in the back row. Hopefully she can continue that trend of getting better because you're going to need some good passers in that back row. And then you'll have Rao coming back, and I know she got some time playing in the middle, and I think on the right side, if I remember right, is where
Yep.
you're using her. So, and even Greshner in the DS. And I don't want to overlook your juniors, but it is that sophomore class that I think everybody's circling and saying this class might have a chance to succeed what your senior class just did, as long as they put in the hard work and effort in the off season.
Yeah, yeah. No, and even thinking minds are already going a little bit to next season too of just the versatility they bring too. I could see some of them switching to some different positions than we even had them play this year. Or I don't know. They are a special group where they are very talented. And we had some really, really strong leaders this year. So they're going to have some big shoes to fill that part of the game because that mental part of the game is really, really, really important. And I feel like we didn't fluster in that too much this year, and that really helped us. We focused on that. So hoping like they still skillfully put in a lot of work, but keep working on those leadership skills too. Because that's a big loss for losing this year. But no, it's exciting. This group since eighth grade, and I've kind of started to see them come together. They're an exciting group, and I'm excited to see by the time they get to seniors what they'll be able to put together because our JV is sophomore strong too. And they are talented as well. So it'll be fun.
Yes, they are, because your JV only lost about a handful of games this year, if I remember right. It might have even been a handful. It might have
Yeah,
been less than that.
they took second at the conference tournament a couple weekends ago, lost to Holman in 3. But yeah, yeah, no, they're playing hard.
Yeah. Well, again, you just got to put in the time and effort in the off season. And I like that mentality. I saw some of your sophomores, and I know that you like the smile. I know you like that mentality. I know that you like that. I'm looking for the game faces, and that's what I was hoping to see. And I saw that from one of those sophomores that you put in the back row just the other night, and I liked what I saw out of her. So I'm not going to say names, but definitely like the game face that I saw from one of those sophomores in the back row. And I just wish you guys the best of luck moving forward for the off season, and looking forward to being back with you guys for volleyball next year. You know how much I like volleyball too. Considering I get to cover some junior college coming up in about 3 weeks too. I'm looking forward to that. So my time for volleyball is not complete either. But it was a really special season, and I'm really glad that I got to talk to many of the players, because that's one thing that I do miss and I don't get a chance to do very often. And Nami gets to do all those interviews. So I like it that you win more, because now I
Yep.
get to talk to the kids more. So keep that up, coach.
Yes, that's a plan. That is a plan. It'll be a tough conference next year, as always, too.
Sure.
So, yeah, a lot of people returning, but yeah, no, thank you. You're awesome. We're gonna miss you. It's gonna come by fast, though. Off season always goes by fast, and it'll be August before we know it.
Yes. And basketball season will be over before we even know it.
Yes,
It hasn't even started yet.
I know. This
Well,
season
coach,
just flew by too.
it did. I agree. Well, and so did football, and then the playoffs were already over with. But hey, you still got some representation. The MVC still has some people out there. Aquinas and then Holman pulling off that upset. That was nice for them. I was actually watching that and rooting for them, so I'm glad that they got the W. So, you can follow along with them as the postseason continues. So, but Coach Williams, thank you so much for everything for throughout the whole entire season. Look forward to talking with you next year.
Yes, thank you. We look forward to it every year.
You bet. That's Haley Williams, then the head coach for the Central Riverhawk volleyball team. And we are not done with interviews quite yet. I do know that I do have one more, but he wasn't available tonight. I think he celebrated a little too hard for football. So I think we're gonna wait on Coach Olson. I'm sure he'll appreciate me telling people that, but he was pretty happy that the Packers won. So we're gonna talk to him tomorrow and have our final interview for the year about football. And that'll be it for us. I think Nami does have a player interview or two lined up for this week as well. Other than that, though, the live play-by-play won't start until the Hoops for Hope, and that'll be coming up with the Central Riverhawk girls hosting West Salem later in the month of November. So look forward to that as well. For Coach Williams, I'm Joel McCall. Thank you so much for tuning in here on the Central Riverhawks YouTube channel.